Everyone for joining our webinar today. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedules, and I know you have quite a lot going on, so we do appreciate that. It's good to see that we have some people with us today who are interested, hadn't heard much about Corti in the past, and then as well as some of our existing customers from the US and around the world. So we're glad to have you with us today. Just as way of introduction, I am David Pridmore. I am the US Sales Director based out of Nashville, Tennessee. And joining me today, my teammate is Sebastian. Sebastian, like to introduce yourself?
Thank you so much, David. Yeah, my name is Sebastian, and I'm joining you all from Copenhagen in Denmark. And out of Copenhagen, I'm in charge of our partner channel program.
Fantastic. Well, we're going to cover about 4 areas on today's agenda. First will be an introduction to Corti. However, it will be in reference to some of the challenges that you guys are facing today. Some of the challenges in public safety, specifically around quality assurance and documentation. And then as we address those, we will dive in a little deeper to the solution and how it can help you. First, yes, here we go. Some of the challenges, I'm sure you all face a lot of different challenges every day, but what we're running into, and we talk to a lot of clients every day, existing and potential new clients, and they're telling us that their call times are too long. Often they just last way too long. And on top of that, not everything is found within those calls that is important. Many details get missed. And then when after the call, the QA just seems to take way too long. The only able to QA a certain small percentage just for the sake of personnel and time. And they often feel like the small percentages that they QA are not enough, you know, to really see what's going on. And so we've heard from everyone, you know, that that's an issue, along with the fact that getting to whatever the critical issue in a call seems to take way too long, where it's completely missed. And even on a call that we had recently, we had captains in a department that were actually doing the QA. Obviously, the whole QA staff was booked on top of 4 captains, and the chief was really wanting to get them back to what they're supposed to be doing on a day-to-day basis. And being in the business, I'm sure you all could add multiple things that you have challenges every day. So we hope that we can address that with you briefly today, starting off with our core technology. Kind of the backbone of our platform, of our solution, is our core technology, which is audio. It is the world's smartest digital medical assistant or public safety assistant. In a simple way, audio runs in the background and listens to live 911 calls and assists the call takers. How it does that is it captures and analyzes all important details of the call. So it's listening to 100% of the calls to see what is happening there, to see what is mentioned. As you'll see, it even picks up on different sounds. And as a result of that, it continuously learns from each call. So not only does it handle the individual call, but it also learns from each call. And as it goes to QA and some of the other documentation, audio also provides support, clarity, and feedback to the call takers and to QA management. And I'm going to get Sebastian to dig in a little deeper into what that means to you.
Thank you so much, David. And yes, exactly. I'm going to dig a little bit deeper because I'm just going to be talking a little bit about the core technology that really powers Audia, that allows us to do what we are going to show you a little bit more on what we do in terms of the solutions that we provide. But really just to get you up to speed on what kind of technology and what makes it different compared to the way things are done today. I'm just going to quickly introduce the technology as it is. So imagine any given call, any given conversation with a patient. That's really where we enter the picture. So a call might last anywhere from 30 seconds to many minutes. And what Audia really does is that it picks up on the details of every single millisecond of a given call. So you can imagine that we're listening in, or the Audia is listening in passively when a conversation is being had between a caller and a call taker. And then every minute detail of that call is something that we're picking up on. And by picking up, I really mean picking up on the dialogue and all of the semantics around dialogues in general, but also on all of the sounds. Those are items that we automatically pick up and automatically annotate that call with. So we're really capable of finding all of the details, all of the important things in a given consultation with a patient that you want to make sure that you're capturing, that you want to make sure that you're not missing to provide the best possible assistance to that patient. And that's really what this technology is capable of. Now, on top of that set of technologies that's able to pick up sounds and semantics, we have a rich set of machine learning models also running in the background, trying to help make the right decisions. And then ultimately, once Audia is comfortable with the decision that it has made, then it will provide some sort of clinical assistance to the healthcare professional, to the call taker. And that can be in many different ways. One of the more well-known models that we have that are running in multiple places around the world is our cardiac arrest detection model. So the cardiac arrest detection model is really trained on a big library of hundreds of thousands of historic calls that were around cardiac arrest, and then we've trained that specifically to pick up on the semantics and the sounds of when a bystander is describing someone suffering from a cardiac arrest, and it really comes into play like this on a call. Along the call, we pick up on all of these key events that are super important to make sure that isn't being missed. And then we annotate those automatically on that call. And ultimately, when we're certain about a certain possible outcome, then we flag that decision support to the call taker as kind of a second opinion, as saying Corti has picked up on something that makes it sure that it could be a potential cardiac arrest, as an example. And that's really how we provide that decision support or clinical assistance. So that's really the core technology that is running in the background, and really the core technology that is then put into play in this set of solutions that we're offering to the public safety space. So underneath everything, you can say Audia is the intelligence of those solutions. And those two solutions that we provide and assist with is Corti Explore and Corti Triage. And the distinction between these two solutions is that one is really about analytics and diving into calls, figuring out what is happening in our calls, where the other one is providing that intelligence in real time when callers are triaging patients. So I'm going to be explaining a little bit more about what makes these two solutions stands out, and what really gives Corti the ability to assist in a certain way with these very difficult calls. And I just wanted to note before I jump into this, I can see a number of raised hands. So we really like all of your questions, but if you have time, maybe I think if we can take them at the end of the presentation, then we can kind of wrap up with a QA session, and we can have a great conversation about all of these items here. Hope that is okay for everyone. So diving a little bit deeper on Corti Explore, this is really our accelerated case review. This is one of the features of Corti Explore that we provide to 911 organizations, public safety organizations, and PSAPs. Really the ability to find the highest priority calls instantly. Now, again, going back to that technology, what it's doing really is that it's annotating those calls with all of the key events that you want to make sure that you're picking up on, or that you might be when you're performing your QA reviews, the things that you are already looking for. So those are automatically being picked up when that call is happening, and then they're kind of enriched inside Corti Explore on every single call. What that really means is that it's very, very simple, first of all, to find the highest priority calls, because we prioritize the calls in terms of, it could be criticality, it could be in terms of whether or not they're following the protocol, et cetera, et cetera. Those are all customizable in terms of what you're looking for. But what we can really do and what we can speed up, and why we call it the accelerated case review, is that we can provide all of these annotations in that call when you're sitting down and reviewing that call. And instead of having to listen through the whole call and from start to finish, what we can do is we can say, well, at 11 seconds we picked up this question asked by the dispatcher. Do you agree with the fact that this annotation is correct? And then you have a very simple click and point peer review form where it takes you straight to those events in the call that you're already looking for. So what we've seen with the clients that we are working with today is that they've been able to use this feature, these accelerated case review features, and speed up their QA review process by 90%. So we have cases of organizations who used to spend 30 minutes on an individual review that are now down to 3 minutes on an individual review, just because they have these smart features as part of their platform. The second feature inside Corti Explore is really what we call quality improvement. It really provides insight into the team performance. Again, every single call is automatically annotated with all of those key events in the call. And what that really means is that we can all of a sudden, by pre-screening every single call with this technology, we can provide you an overview of the calls that we have found to be important to review. So what we're really doing here is we're taking the needle out of the haystack and saying, instead of randomly picking calls where you're not sure that there's anything to find or anything to learn from, we're providing you those calls where we know, because we've screened all of them with this technology, we know that there are some sort of troublesome event or feature in that call that we really want a human set of eyes on. And what we really do here is, first of all, we provide a 100% quality assurance process, because we have the ability to do that automatically with this technology. We're also pointing you in the direction of the calls that you should be reviewing, because we know that those are troublesome. So, gone are the days of randomly, looking into calls, but really pinpointing the exact calls where you can learn from, where there's, performance improvement potential if you learn from those calls. And that's really what we do with the quality improvement feature. The next one, and one of the points that David touched upon, is the feedback. That feedback loop that is really, really difficult to get unless you're looking over the shoulder of all of your call takers. What that feedback loop really provides is an individual overview of your entire organization. So we can provide a QA score of every single call taker, every single person who's answering the phone in the PSAP, and then we can go in and then we can see where are the big potential improvement areas that would be really, really important for any given individual call taker to be training a little bit more on. And we can do that because, again, we have that full insight and that full visibility into that unbiased view of how those calls are looking like. So again, going from a world where everything is sort of unstructured because it sits away hidden in audio, now we all of a sudden have that unstructured audio source, but in a very, very structured manner. And what that means is that we get that visibility into the performance of the organization. We're figuring out where are areas of improvement, where could we really increase our performance if we just did some, it could be directed training to certain call takers and so on. So that's what we really provide with this feedback loop and this instant call taker feedback feature.
Sebastian, too, that just reminded me of a call from yesterday, I believe it was, where we were looking at the previous slide or the previous screen, and they said, like, well, that's all in red, so there must be a problem with Roger, but what about the people who are doing a really excellent job? I'm only able to QA 3%. What if there's someone out there doing a great job and I just can't find them? Would this be able to help me? And of course it would. I mean, it helps you just as easy to be able to do coaching for someone who, just needs a little help, or even, better for those who need a pat on the back with everything else they have to deal with. So.
Yeah, exactly. So there's such a great potential here for positive reinforcement of excellent performance in the organization, and really, making sure that that is recognized. And that's, again, another really good benefit of having that feedback loop, is that we get that full visibility into who's really doing well and who deserves a pat on the back, or whatever it might be. That's, again, something that really resonates with a lot of the people that we speak to. And then just going to the fourth feature of Corti Explore, which is also something that we're really, really excited about, is that ability to do industry benchmarking. Now, imagine a lot of organizations are, working inside this platform, and all of a sudden we have some sort of democratization of that data, in a sense, at least in the sense of, where are other organizations doing really, really well. So it might be that in one part of the country or in the world, someone is really, really good at operating cardiac arrest calls. They, have the lowest time response metrics, and we really want to learn from them because we know they're doing a good job. But what are their secret? And that's, again, what the visibility that you're able to get inside this platform is, to say, well, if they're doing really well there, we would really love to know what they're doing so well. Can we learn from it? And that's one of the things that we provide inside this platform as well, is to really foster an environment of knowledge sharing and making sure that everyone benefits from all of the good initiatives that are out there. So that's really what Corti Explore does as a whole. I know it's a really quick run through of the platform, but it really allows you to get that unbiased view after, when you're analyzing your calls, get that unbiased view into as what is going on, where should we be reviewing, where are the areas of really great potential in terms of optimization or learning, and that's what Corti Explore really provides. So I'm going to take you from the more post-call scenario and then into the real-time call scenario, because that's the second part of our solution suite, that is Quartet Triage. And what Quartet Triage really is the front end for any given call taker to traverse their protocols, ask the right questions to the callers, making sure that they're sticking on point with what questions they should be asking to get to the right assessment as quickly as possible, so they can provide the help. And what we've done here is we've added a feature called Integrated AI, and that feature is really decision support level. That's second opinion safety net, where Corti is trained on a number of different things, such as detecting cardiac arrest. And what the benefit of this really is to provide that safety net in these very, very critical instances, such as a cardiac arrest, which, some call takers might not have experienced it. We all know how difficult a call it is to triage. And having that safety net just gives them a lot more comfortability with those types of calls, because once we're certain of a possible outcome, then we will flag that with a notification saying Corti has picked up on this. Maybe you should be considering if this isn't the way that you should be going. And again, the numbers speaks a little bit for itself. In some of the cases that we're working with, we've seen a 40% increase in a correct diagnosis rate, but also really, really drastically lowering that time to recognition of a certain incident. And again, the positive benefit of that is really the ability to provide life-saving CPR in a cardiac arrest case faster when that call starts. And the next feature in Quartet Triage that I'm going to be talking a little bit about is our protocol suggestion feature. And what's really, really good about this feature is that it's very, very good at understanding just, the first 5-10 seconds of a call, really where you have that initial conversation with a patient, understanding what are they calling about, what is the case about. And what it can do is really, really quickly pick up on that just initial description of the case. And then it can get very, very accurately down to what is the appropriate protocol to be using here. So it will suggest to the call takers, we believe you should be using the diabetic protocol or whatever it might be in that certain case, and then guide them on the right path, just to get to that line of questioning faster and making sure that they get to the right line of questioning in the first attempt. And that's really what it's about to do here. So that's what we do with the protocol suggestion. Again, some numbers around what we've been capable of helping our clients with is a 25% more accurate protocol selection, and then just time savings in terms of those calls because they get on the right path faster. Then we also build in a lot of features to make it just easier for call takers to manage the job that they do. We know they have a lot of things going on. They have critical calls that they need to pay attention to. They have a lot of screens that they're operating. So we've just automated a lot of features that makes it easier for them to, dispatch their the first responders, make sure that all the documentation work is really up to date. That is fully automized inside the platform. And it's really just supporting those call takers with a very stressful work that they have in their daily life. By just taking some of the pressure off by adding that into the flow in a logic way. And the final feature, which is not so much a feature, but more a capability of what we do, CAD integration. So again, we integrate with the existing CAD technologies. We recognize how important it is that flow continues into the systems that they're using. So again, really, really important that this application speaks with those existing applications that they're using, and making sure that whole flow is documented. So everything that goes on inside Corti Triage will also be documented inside the CAD system, and all the records are kept there. And then I'll give the word back to you, David.
All right, thank you, Sebastian. Yeah, and to make this a little more real, as far as what it looks like in daily life, one of our key clients is Seattle Fire Department. They had a pretty good, we've had a long-term relationship with them and them helping to develop this with us, or at least give input and real time to helping us do the right things in this marketplace. But as a result, they're seeing some real savings in time and how things are handled. And they're the most recent stats given to us is that they're saving 90% on their QA call reviews, and 15% increase in critical cases handled under 60 seconds. So you're seeing that kind of on both sides of the equation, and then 65% savings in call processing time. And to kind of put it into real language, this is an email we got a couple of weeks ago from Dr. Counts, and she said, I literally coded 33 cases in 1.5 hours yesterday. It's amazing. I truly do appreciate you sharing this magic with me. And I like the way she called it magic, because from someone who's right in the middle of that every day, it can almost feel like that. So they've been an excellent account to work with. And, just a few of the things that we're hearing from clients, 43% fewer errors when detecting critical diseases. It's what we say is that, humans can put their own spin on things they hear, but the machine, the AI does not. It picks out exactly what's there. As a result of the feedback, call takers stick to the protocol at 92% of the consultations. Again, another client told us that they had 10 new call takers starting, and I'm like, I guess, and I immediately thought that they were saying, well, they're very trained, and that, they are going to want to go around the protocols. And so I answered something along that line, and she said, no, they're not very trained, and I want to teach them while we're doing this. So it makes a big difference, even in a training standpoint from the beginning. Faster triaging a patient during an emergency call by 26%. And then more accurate in assessing the patients, how critical they are. And you can actually hear that on our system as it's going along, when it accurately picks out what the critical issues are. And then time savings by optimizing the protocol. So you can actually, as Sebastian mentioned, you can teach it more. You can take your core protocol, but you can also add regional things. A lot from COVID recently was added in, especially in Seattle. As you know, that's where we pretty much had our first case, and in the US. And so they were able to utilize the optimization and customization of protocol to fit within that as well. And I won't go into each one of these, you know, exactly specifically, but you can see just from a wide view of some of the people we've worked with so far. This is not all of them, but these are some of the ones who have been with us for a bit. And so pretty much people from all over the country and the world. So as far as questions now, we're coming up on 30 minutes or so.